Thank you for joining me this evening. Today I'm sharing with you a TCM May update and a course preview, my course review. For those who know me, just bear with me for a while. I'm Dr. Clement Ng. I'm a TCM practitioner from Singapore. These are some of my credentials, whereby I'm currently the Vice President of Singapore Acupuncture Association. I'm the Chairman for the Technical Committee for Complementary Medicine and Health Products in Singapore. I'm representing Singapore in the ISO Standard Committee for TCM that will set standard for the world. So that is something about myself. Let me give you something from the company where I'm coming from, or that I have set up, TCM and you. It was set up with an understanding of just what you need to know about TCM to become a beautiful you, a stronger you, a calmer you, a smarter you, and a healthier you. So I've been creating a series of training courses, some services, as well as I'm doing something on product development at this moment. So now, this COVID-19 has been with us since last year, February last year in Singapore per se, and ever since then, we have going through many progress or development. And this Zoom thing was basically I start Zooming in April last year. So I've been in this mode of sharing knowledge since April last year. And just give you an overview, last year, in May 4th, I give an overview on the COVID-19 and I share about what to do as a TCM, from a TCM perspective, what can we do. This was the map I shared last year. At the moment, about a year ago, 4th of May, let the force be with you, the 4th of May, that about 3 million confirmed case. And after a year, this was the map I captured on the 8th of August, pardon me, the 8th of May this year. As you can see, the progress is a bubble getting bigger. And now we are looking at 157 million confirmed case and many deaths along the way. So this number has been keep catching up. And we are dealing with a virus, living thing per se, is mutating. So we mutate and they react accordingly. I mean, we have vaccine and things like that. So things are changing. And so what can we do to help us address these things? And this is fresh from the oven that I just captured from CNA, the reliable source. May 10, that's today, at about 3:35 p.m. We're looking at in Singapore case 19, and we are looking at 3 community case. So there are people out there roaming the ground. So there's something we need to do about it, and something we can do as a Singaporean, as a citizen from the country you are from, and something we can do about it. So to give you an idea from the TCM perspective, what is called COVID-19 pandemic? It's called a pandemic. And this pandemic words has been captured in the Chinese character in Chinese character long before we were born. It can be seen as long as during the Oracle, that's about 4,000 years ago. The earliest beginning of Chinese character pandemic can be found in Oracle. And our forefather, using knife, carved something on the tortoise shell per se, is Oracle. So pandemic disease from the TCM perspective is a kind of acute febrile disease, meaning there is always a fever, there's a heat involvement. So it's caused by pestilent pathogens. So there is a known virus, known agent, we call it the pestilent pathogen, and it's highly infectious. And this particular highly infectious pathogens is, when they occur, during pandemic, all the people may have it. This is something recorded in the text and happen to be more prevalent and tends to break out in summer. So now we are in summer. The northern hemisphere entering summer period come 6th of May this year. So I will share with you the changes in the climatic condition. Many of us claim that in Singapore there is no seasonal change. Those in my class before, I shared with you before, there is some subtle change, and this changes does has its effect on us and how we can react accordingly. So every quarter per se, I will give an updates of what to do. For example, from the acupressure perspective, what to do from the medical diet perspective. So just a gentleman asking about how we can process the herbs. Those details are covered in my course. And the basic principle of health betterment. I believe we come across a lot of people saying that this thing called health maintenance. To me, to embark on the maintenance journey is a very pessimistic move. It should be a health betterment approach because tomorrow you have to be better you than you today. So I call it health betterment. And health betterment itself have few perspective is to prevent before the disease strike. Preventions. One of the key driver behind most traditional medicine about preventions, as well as to intercept the interception before pathological changes. Interceptions. So if something happened to you now, we want to make sure you don't complicate the issue. For example, we talk about certain chronic illnesses. If you have, for example, diabetic, stay put as diabetic. By itself, you won't be too much chore in managing it. But when it becomes complicated, when the complication kick in, that's where things become messy. So to prevent disease before it strikes, and to intercept before any pathological changes. As well as we come to health betterment, we need to look into a couple of factors such as the season and timing, locality, and individuals. Later I'll share about this thing because it's important to know that where we are, for example, most of us here are staying in somewhere near the equator. So our geographical region that we are in is very different from those residing in, for example, in Canada, in Korea, in Japan. So their weather condition and their geographical condition are different from us. So there's a need to look into all these things when you come to approach in health betterment. So I'll share about this thing. So prevention and interception. This is a very famous statement from the book 黄帝内经, the 黄帝 Internal Medicines. Seeking medication only after the occurrence of illnesses, or not preventing a disturbance until it starts, is no different from digging a well when one is thirsty, or making weapon when the battle starts. Isn't that too late? This statement is been written more than 2,500 years ago. And until today, many of us still behaving in this way. When you see doctor, when you are sick, what happens when you are not sick or pre-sick? Do you see doctor? You don't. So many a time a lot of people avoid seeing doctor or seeking treatment and medical treatment. Don't seek treatment after illnesses start. It's too late. It's a very pessimistic move. We should always prevent, knowing what will happen and take necessary precaution before it strikes. And from a TCM perspective, we have a grading of what a healthcare practitioner should be graded. Give you an idea. The grading of healthcare practitioner. First, we call it 上医. The superior healthcare practitioner prevent illnesses. 上医治未病之病. Before it come, in Chinese it's called 未雨绸缪. We know that weather is going to change. Do something about it. We know that we're going to age. Do something about it. Okay? Prevent from happen. Don't wait till you have it, then you talk about it. Then we talk about the mediocre healthcare practitioner attends to impending sickness. It's coming. You feel that there's some aching somewhere, some pain somewhere. So you should immediately embark on treatments. But many of us come to this issue. We are quite proud of this thing that I can handle pain. My pain tolerance is very high. There's nothing to be proud of being high pain tolerance, because the fact that you're hiding, or the fact that you are not feeling well and you're holding it back from necessary treatment, or then when it really cannot take the pain, then it becomes very bad. So next is called inferior healthcare practitioner treat actual illness. So 下医治以病之病, meaning now you are sick, then you see doctor. What's the point technically? So the idea is like that when you're already sick, fine, we can still treat it. And then we are at this particular final stage. What you are trying to do is called best effort. So let's put it this way, if you can prevent it, we should prevent it. And then come with the COVID things. It's applicable everywhere we go. Prevention or interception. Our MOH, these are the literature has been sharing all over the place. In Singapore context, it's free for the world to take it. And when it comes to handling of pandemic, it's no different and it's borderless per se. Whoever can do it better, we should adopt it. So do your part in the fight against COVID-19. There are many teachers stay at home, do the right things. Actually nowadays we're staying at home, be it phase 2 or going to phase 3 next time, is when you have nothing better to do, don't go out. I mean, the safest place on earth now is your home. And for those in Singapore, this is the safest place on earth as well. So, to prevent the disease, to prevent before the disease strike, avoiding crowded and confined space. Wash hand frequently. This is applicable to everywhere. My Indonesian friend is the same. Wash your hand. Okay, touch something. Wearing mask. Now it's a mask generation. Going forward, mask is a part of you. And improve one's immunity. That's something that I will touch on from a TCM perspective in short while. And we talk about this thing called intercept before possible pathological changes. If you are not feeling well, seek medical advice as soon as possible. Like I mentioned just now, don't claim that you have a high pain tolerance. Don't sweep things under the carpet. Your carpet will bulge up eventually. So early treatment is always better than in all kind of illnesses, including COVID as well. So you are advised to do so. And when it comes to prevention, TCM believes that our body's immune system rely on the internal healthy energy. We call it 正气. And this energy level, when one's healthy qi is abundance, pathogen will not harm it. And if a person's immunity is strong, he will not easily get sick. This situation can be seen from the fact that sometimes we expose the same environment. We have a group of people going to the same environment, but one or two of them may fall ill along the way. Why? While all of us are in the same environment, this person not feeling well, it's because this person's immunity is not as strong as others. So when it comes to immunity boosting, from the modern nutrition point of view, there are some say vitamin C, some say other things per se. I'm giving you a perspective from TCM point of view. So, regular rest and moderate exercise. This helps. Getting enough sleep is a way to keep healthy in TCM. There was the latest recent reports in our national Straits Times, which is getting very quite popular about some issue over there these few weeks. But indicating that if you have not enough sleep, 20 years down the road, there's possibility or you develop into dementia. But the question now to ask is, a lot of people, it's not because I don't want to sleep, it's because I cannot sleep. So there's idea of how you can sleep, and sleep itself is a very, while the science perspective cannot give a proper definition, but sleep is important. While you're sleeping or while you're in deep sleep, where delta wave is developing, your body go into a state whereby the cognitive development will be refined. Your body will be going to repairing modes. So you're encouraged to sleep if you can. Exercise can promote internal circulations, which help to improve immunity. So every morning, if there's opportunity, I go for a walk. So stay healthy. To stay alive, we must move. In Chinese, it's called 活动. It's only when you're alive, you move, then you can stay alive. And maintain the emotional peace or stable emotion per se. Emotion, there is no such thing as good and bad emotions. You need to address and manage your emotion accordingly. We have stress, tension, all this can affect our autonomous nervous system in the body, resulted in lower immunity. And you cannot manage your emotions, that energy that is being developed, if you are not able to regulate it well, this energy will eventually trap in the body and form something else. And that something is never what we want to be. So I have a course on this, how to manage emotion. Later we'll talk about it. So people in anger, sadness, depression, anxiety, and other so-called bad emotion. Actually, they don't bad or good emotion. Every rational person will always make the right decision to make some emotional reactions. But this emotional reaction may affect the internal organ visceral systems. Such as, if you're too angry, it affects your liver system. You're in depression, it also affects your liver system. A person who keep worried affect the spleen system. A person who always sad will affect the lung system, and vice versa. A person with a weak spleen tend to worry more, and the person who have a weak lung system tend to cry more. So these are something that we discuss in the organ visceral system relationship with our emotion. And to strengthen the qi and the blood, this is where we can nourish from the external means. And this qi nourishment is to address the spleen and the stomach visceral system. When we are born, before birth, we're relying on our mothers to give us necessary nutrients. Upon us coming to this earth, this world per se, our most important organ visceral system is our spleen and stomach digestive system. In TCM, we call it the source of nurture, 后天之本, where to strengthen our energy, to strengthen our qi, our vitality per se, we must make sure that whatever we eat is able to harness and transform to the nutrient that we need. So we have to strengthen our qi and the blood, where it is looking into the spleen and the stomach visceral system. So when there's abundant qi in the body, we will be able to maintain good immunity. That's one of the key things. And how we can address and how we can go about managing this, we can go through a few steps. First, we have to, before we embark on the journey of health maintenance, it's very important to know, first of all, where we stay, the season that we are in, and who we are. A man's meat is another man's poison. We like to compare ourselves against others. We saw someone who are very handsome and very beautiful, have a slim body, and we immediately ask what they eat. Actually, what they eat and what you eat are totally different things. Because to each his own constitution. You cannot, you cannot say that to be like the person, by eating the same thing as that person, you will become like that person. Because we are all come from different background. Our upbringing will define who we are, and later I'll share with you a couple of things. So according to, first of all, from the 黄帝内经, a man come to life through the qi of heaven and earth, and he grows and develops in accordance with the law of the 4 seasons. So our weather changes have some effect on us, and to update you about these changes according to seasons, the changes in solar term. From the TCM, adopt many of the ancient wisdoms. As part of the ancient wisdom in weather changes, every 15 days, there's a subtle change in the weather. It's the same, be it in Singapore, be it in Indonesia, or be it from someone who are coming from Australia down under. While it's opposite of Singapore, northern hemisphere, it have some perspective. So I'm sharing with you from the northern hemisphere perspective. This is a chart on solar terms. As you can see, there are 24 sectors. We split the year into 24 sectors. So every 15 days, there's a changes. So come May 6, just keep past, the northern hemisphere will usher in the 7 solar terms. We call it the summer commence, 立夏. This solar term in Singapore is just 1 degree north of equator, and we enter uniquely Singapore summer. And Indonesia similar. So it's characterized by hot, humid climate and coupled with thundery showers. So our weather, so-called our agency has highlighted the same thing, but this is basically captured in the ancient text. You can actually count and predict when the weather will change, and it's quite accurate to a certain extent. So we are currently under this particular solar term, which is typical dampness and heatiness. Remember this statement first, dampness and heatiness. Later I'll share this for the next 20 minutes, it's about the same. So for those Singaporeans who claim that there's no 4 seasons in Singapore, the next chart will show you. This chart should be quite similar to Indonesia side if you can find the answer. So according to season, the average temperature in Singapore in the last 30 years. As you can see this chart, this is typically following the 4 seasons. And we are currently at this particular area called May and June. So we are looking at the hottest season or hottest period of the year in Singapore. I believe in Indonesia is about the same. So with this changes understanding of the weather, okay, come this period is where the most cough will occur. I'll update it subsequently as well. Our body will react accordingly. Symptoms on our body will respond significantly to changes in the weather. So there's something to take note. Those who has eczema, who has this thing called the skin rashes, or UTI, urinary tract infections. This period you must be careful. Later I'll update this. So according to locality, Singapore unique geographical factors. So we are 1 degree north. Singapore is here. See tiny little red dot here. The dot is too big for Singapore anyway. And you will look into that bigger. Singapore is right here. Indonesia is also around here. So it's quite the same. And our weather is basically typically summer. Bright. This morning is like that. Come afternoon, it becomes like that. So our weather itself is basically located at latitude 1 degree north of equator and has a tropical rainforest climate. It is warm and humid with little change in temperature differences, but there are some changes. Okay, this is according to the weather. And according to individuals, the body constitutions. From a TCM perspective, from the humble beginning, we segregate human being into 2 body types. One is the yin body type and yang body types. And subsequently, when they adopt 5 element theory, they segregate human body into 5 element types. There are those who are wood element, who are very stubborn, very thin and stubborn. There are those who are fire element, bubbly, get angry easily. There are those who have this thing called the earth element, where they are very generous, they can accept everything. The metal element make a lot of noise, like to quarrel, and the water element like to cry. And subsequently, about 20 years ago, there's a professor in Beijing University of Chinese Medicines, Professor Wang Qi. He conducted a survey of sampling size of more than 21,000. He come with the understanding that human being can be segregated to 9 body constitution type. First, normal type, qi deficiency type, get tired easily. Those who are yang deficiency, feeling cold easily. Yin deficiency, always have sore throat and dry throat. Those who are phlegm damp, typically fat and plump, prone to cardiovascular diseases, diabetic, and things along the way, as well as damp heatiness. Those easily get pimples, acne, and get angry easily. And we have this thing called the blood stasis. You have the pigmentation on the eye of the body, or growth, sudden unknown growth in the body, blood stasis, and qi stagnation. Those who are prone to depression, anxiety, and stuff like that, as well as sensitive body types. So these 9 body constitution types, according to the body constitution type, and coupled with the fact that our diet, we are heavy in taste, spicy, and fried foods. In Singapore, we don't have much thing, but we eat everything under the sun. Previously, we have this thing called the Penarakan food. We have the laksa. We have the Western food. We have the curry chicken, the buffet per se, chicken rice, as well as now people talk about this thing called the bubble tea. So these are things that's along, and people are talking about it. And someone write something. Thank you. So these are what we have been eating. And all this food that we are eat are heavy in taste and spicy and fried food. And that make a lot of us become like that. Singaporean body constitution tend to be dampness and heatiness. That's part of the constitution. And because of this constitution type, this weather that we are in, many of us will face things along this area. For those who have dampness and heatiness body constitution types, characterized by symptoms such as eczema, skin rashes, UTI. Sorry, I kicked the wire. Sorry, I kicked the wire. So, must take care during these coming months to prevent triggering of such symptoms. Because from a TCM perspective, there's this thing called 同气相求, meaning that your constitution align with the external constitution, align with the external environment. And during this period, whatever happens within will just flare accordingly. So those who have this particular symptom, you have to take notes of help to reduce dampness and heatiness from your body. And during this period, because of the weather itself, which are high temperature, high heat, humidity, diseases such as digestive system issue, headaches, skin rashes, cardiovascular diseases will also happen along the way. First of all, let's discuss this digestive system. Because as weather becomes hotter, it's common for most people to go out for cold food, cold drinks and things like that. So it's technically not right. In our body, human body is we are warm-blooded. Our temperature are about 36 plus. 36.9 is the myth now, 36 plus. So our body is warm. If you eat something that's cold, what happens? Your body must warm it up to the body temperatures before anything can be absorbed. This is quite common sense to a certain extent. So if you keep consuming cold thing, what happens to your stomach? Our stomach, our absorption of nutrients is never happen in the stomach. Absorption of nutrients is happening in the small intestine. The modern medicine said so, and the TCM also indicate the same thing. So if you eat something that's uncooked or cold, you are damaging your stomach first. And that subsequently trigger poor appetite, diarrhea, even acid reflux. And from a TCM perspective, it's best to consume food which have heat cleansing and diuretic property during these periods, such as porridge, soup, which can help to quench thirst, promote fluid secretions, relieve heat and nourishing to the body. For food which can have cleansing and diuretic property, such as watermelon, bitter gourd. Bitter gourd is highly recommended during this weather itself. Plum, strawberry, tomato, cucumber, and green beans. These have helps property that can help to refreshing effect of to the body. And drinking a cup of warm ginger water in the morning. While the weather is hot, it's humid, it's damp. So this particular ginger water in the morning help to warm up the body while you're sleeping through the night. Our typical body temperature will slightly drops. So it's good to warm up the body. And ginger help to alleviate symptoms such as fatigue, loss of appetite, even insomnia due to the weather. And ginger can also be appetizer, strengthening the spleen visceral system to prevent coldness to the stomach, prevent you from catching a cold. So this is our digestive system issue. Then we have this thing called headaches. Why headaches? High temperature, humidity, and thundery shower and sudden change in the weather often induce worsen headaches. And coupled with a lack of sleep, emotional mental fatigue can induce headaches. So during this period, we should avoid excessive reliance on drugs if you can. So later in this sharing, I'll share with some acupoint that can help you address this thing. So the symptom can be moderate through ensuring adequacy in fluid intake, avoiding cold foods, regulating your emotion, and pay attention to rest, and about taking care of some treatment along the way. And skin diseases, rashes. Hot, humid weather conducive growth to reproduction of various fungus and bacteria. In addition, Singapore are generally prone to perspiration and the skin often sweaty and wet. If they are not wet, clean, and dry, the fungus will develop in our skin and cause skin diseases. From the diabetic perspective, my PhD research is diabetic. In Singapore context, gangrene, infection to your lower limbs, where subsequently led to the amputation per se, is mainly triggered by this particular fact. Our weather itself is highly favorable for bacteria to grow, dampness and heatiness. For those suffering from diabetic, if you don't constantly monitoring the condition of your legs, keeping them dry, keeping them warm, if you have a cut, you may have some oversight and forget to notice it, and when things become messy subsequently because of the infection triggering. So it's something that we need to take note of this. And during this period, you should pay attention to channel personal hygiene. Keep the skin dry. Clothes, blanket, towel should be clean and disinfect frequently. And this also aligns with the fact that we are currently going through this COVID pandemic issue. Keeping your personal hygiene, your uniform per se, clothing per se clean is very important. Avoiding going to a crowded place. If you come back from a crowded place, immediately wash. Something on that line. And just highlight another issue called the cardiovascular diseases. The summer weather in the TCM context, when we talk about organ visceral system, the summer correspond to heart, correspond to fire element in the fire elements. So during this period, it's good to focusing in the health of the heart visceral system. Later, I'll share one particular acupoint that are good for the heart systems. It's helpful in prevention of heart, the heat and cardiovascular related illnesses. So while you may be staying at home now more frequently and more recently, it's important to keep your spirit high. While the room may be small, if you can, look out on the window. Keeping yourself mentally coordinated and stimulated, ensuring regular daily schedule is very important. For example, now I'm doing this talk because nothing to do at night. But keeping your mind active, engaging when people out there virtually. For example, you can consider taking up online courses, where I have a lineup of series of online courses. If you are keen, you can always come on board to learn. Okay, some health betterment practices. Because there's important thing here. While we all acknowledge that knowledge and skills are important, lifelong learning, knowledge and skills are important. I always tell people I stopped taking exam only when I'm about 46 years old. So I'm 52 now. I only stop taking exam when I'm 46 years old. Sorry, 46 years old. So knowledge and skills are important. But there's an element here you must take note. It's called the health. With the knowledge and the skills, and you are healthy, that's where we can contribute to the world. Okay, the world is your oasis. The world is your playground. Your knowledge plus health, you have everything under the sun. See, we want to live till 85 years old. Pardon me. We want to live to 85 or 90 and still walking and kicking. But without health, what you have is technically now. And as a doctor in clinic, I always come across quite sad story, but that's how it works. We need to take care of our health when we are healthy. Health maintenance is a statement, but to have the moral high ground to state I have maintained health, I must be healthy first. So if you're not healthy now, it's about time you look something about it to make yourself back to a state where you are in. I spent many years in the management world. We talk about corporate management. What is called health management? Health management means knowing who you are now and what you want to be. And from who you are now to what you want to be, there's a gap. We call it gap analysis. So you must put in action plan to do something about it. There are some online courses you can consider. These are some of my personal online courses. If you are keen, for example, I discuss stress, anxiety, and depression, emotional management. Detail will come later. This one come in May. I'm spending all the Sunday night doing some classes. Stroke secret from the TCM perspective. Stroke is very prevalent nowadays. Many people is every 5 minutes someone stroke in Singapore. So stroke is something that we need to take care of. And 失眠 in Chinese, I have insomnia and 失眠 this course. Why am I not able to sleep well? See, why can't I fall asleep? And why do I keep waking up? There are some you can take note. Diabetic, the TCM perspective. Well, a lot of people blame the sugar. Actually, there's nothing wrong with the sugar. Sugar is nothing wrong. The question to ask is why our body not able to effectively metabolize sugar. There's nothing wrong with sugar. We need sugar. Without sugar, you die. So these are courses that I have lined up in the month of May and June. If you are keen, you are invited to join me in this sharing, something like that discussion. And beside all these courses, I also have a series of SkillsFuture approved course. This is where you can make use of the SkillsFuture credit that you may have. You can look into courses online. So on come 24th May, there will be acupressure massage class. This class will start. When there's 2 students, I'll start. So I'll be sharing with you how to identify those acupoint online, sharing with you the technique about massaging yourself from head to toe. Later I'll give you the course outline in a short while. I'll touch on the 中医药膳终极班. This is in Chinese. And TCM for men. This course is for men and for women who love their men. I'll give you an outline in a short while. It will happen in the June. Pardon me, in May. And these are the classroom class. Just to highlight to all of you, the classroom class will still continue. The class are big enough. Before the pandemic last year, one class I had 30 students. Now one class I have the most 16 students. So the class is half the size. So there are many air in a way you are well segregated. So no worry, online classroom class are starting. So come next week, there's a class on TCM for senior, where I teach you and sharing with you the various reasons why as we age something happen. And I'll share a simple Qigong. Later I'll talk about the Qigong class as well. So TCM Herbal Diet, this class is full. These 2 classes are all full, so it's fine. So come June, there's another class in Toa Payoh ECC. And to touch on, now they have a short update. What to do during these seasons. So for those that follow my article, these are the few points I share. 集拳取持外围中内关. And diet that I share in the paper as well: bitter gourd rib soup, takaho barley soup, red dates longan porridge, and astragalus qi invigorating tea. So acupressure massage, something we can learn immediately and use today. I'll be sharing with you the 4 acupoints. 3 are meant to cleanse dampness from the body, heatiness and dampness, and is good. And 1 is to regulate the heart visceral system. So the 集拳 point, this is one of the key points along the heart meridian, located at the apex of the axilla, right here. So the acupoint is on the iliac arteries, is an important acupuncture point of the heart meridians. So massaging this point can help to cleanse heatiness from the heart. So you're feeling angry, you may have a case where you have ulcer in your tongue. This is the indication of heatiness in the heart visceral system. So method: press, massaging about 3 minutes at least once a day. What you can do is take your 4-finger, just put at your armpit and just massage. Pressing here helps. For those wake up in the early morning, if you have numbness on the lower part of your hand, it indicates your circulation along your heart meridian is not well. So you can try to massage this particular method. Just hold on to the point and just press. So this somewhere something along this line. So it's called 集拳. 曲池穴, 曲池 acupoint. This point located on the side of the elbow. There's a depression around here. It's a very important point along the large intestine meridian, and it's an acupoint where the dampness of the large intestine meridian gather. So massaging it with a feeling of soreness can help clear away heat and dampness. So what you can do is press massaging. While you're waiting for your friends, we like to cross our hand. So as you cross your hand, just press the point. I call it the Sir Stamford Raffles pose. So you can press this point, it can help. This point cleanse dampness and heatiness from your body. And from the large intestine, it helps in a sense to detox. So it's better than taking medication for detoxifications. That's the qi ci xue. Then I have the next point called Wei Zhong. Wei Zhong is located just at the back of the knee, on the midway of the polyteal crease, the part that's bulging up behind your knee. It belongs to the bladder meridian. So bladder meridian is the largest detoxification and dampness channel of the human body. So this point is the sewage outlet of these particular channels. So method tap massaging. While you're sitting there watching me, what you can do, you can tap behind. Okay? For 3 minutes, at least once a day. So these 3 key points that I highlighted, they are all very easy to locate. One is below your armpit, one is at the side of your elbow, one just behind your knee. So I want to keep it simple for you to look for the point. So this point, what you can do, by pressing these 3 points, you can detox, cleanse dampness and heatiness from your body. And the next point I want to share is called Nei Guan. Nei Guan is one of the most commercialized points for acupoint, meridian theory. This point located on the inner aspect of the forearm, 2 chun above the wrist line between the 2 tendons. For those who yet to attend my course, just keep it simple. You put your hand slightly, one thumb on your forearm and rotate your hand left and right. The moment you rotate your hand left and right, you'll notice that there's 2 parallel tendons around here. The 2 chun, how to find the 2 chun? It's basically 3 fingers from the palm wrist, the line here, and 3 fingers down in between the 2 tendons. That is a point. So you just hold on to the point and just open and close your hand. This point belongs to the pericardium meridian. Massaging this point can help to maintain the heart, relieve heartache, palpitation, and relieve the chest. It opens up the chest tightness. So push method, you can pushing it, or you can just holding to it and open and close your hand. So I share with you 4 very good easy acupoint to identify. Because I sent an article to some of you here. You may not be able to comprehend from the word itself. That's why now I make it online to share it live. So the medical diet wise, I share 4 medical diet. First is called bitter gourd rib soup. As I mentioned to all of you, during this particular season, hot and humid, highly damp, bitter gourd is a highly recommended vegetable, or you call it fruits, even call it medicines. As I said, diet food, diet medicines. So everything you put into your mouth is the medicines. So I have bitter gourd here. I just put rib here. It's up to your selection of which rib you want to be it pork, be it mutton, be it anything that you like. Onion, ginger, and salt to taste. So this particular simple soup here, it can cleanse summer heat and dampness, and improve eyesight and detoxify. So bitter gourd rib soup. If you are a vegetarian, forget about the rib. That's about it. Anyway, the meat make it tastier. And just in case if you are a vegetarian per se, you should have a more frequent walk, you should have more frequent walk under the sun. Takahol barley soup. Okay, takahol is a particular herb known as tofu ling. It's slightly grayish brown in color. So these particular herbs have a good property in detoxification and cleanse heatiness and detox from the body. Barley is a good diet or rice or grain that you should consider during this season as well. Sugar to taste. It cleanses heat, dampness, and detoxify and highly resist. So this is a example of how it look like. Then we have next thing called the red dates longan porridge. This is a red dates. Longan, rice, and rock sugar to taste. This particular formula here, I indicate porridge. That's why I put rice here. If you don't like to eat the rice or porridge, just remove the rice. The red dates and longan itself, these 2 nourish the heart and the spleen. For those suffering from insomnia during these seasons, and your skin tone color typically are yellowish in color, these are something you can consider to drink at night. It has a very calming effect. It nourishes blood. it nourishes the spleen and the heart system. So blood and calming. So something along this line, you can cook. These are all artist impression. And for those who are weak in immunity, low in qi, we call it, this particular formula, astragalus qi invigorating tea, this is an evergreen. It can be consumed now and consumed throughout the years. For those who are qi deficiency, meaning that you have perspire easily, you get the flu easily and things like that. So this particular formula itself includes astragalus, huang qi, wolfberry, goqi, dates, honeysuckle. Honeysuckle was introduced because during this season weather is a bit hot. Honeysuckle typically giving you a cooling property. Some ginger and little water. So suitable for people with deficiency of qi. Those who prone to coldness, and this one can help to improve immunity. So this is how it look like. And the ingredients are as follow: astragalus, red dates, wolfberry, and honeysuckle. Ginger you can get some from anywhere. For those interested, it's available on my website as well. So this is a QR code you can scan. So these are things that I share in the course, in the paper that I sent to all of you. While we are fighting or while we are preventing ourselves against this so-called the COVID-19 pandemic, we must also take note of a couple of things. The weather is changing. How the weather change going to affect us? What are our underlying illnesses? We cannot ignore the fact that we have this COVID and we forget about our underlying illnesses. And how we can strengthen ourselves against pending disease and pending illnesses. So we have in Chinese TCM we approach our illnesses with always this case. When something more urgent, do you attend the root cause or you attend to the more urgent case? So it depends on which one is more prevalent. So next thing is during the case of mastering the knowledge and skill and health betterment, to me is the best gift that you can give to yourself, your family, and your friends. And we hope to have more friends to come and learn method in health betterment. So I will come to the end of my sharing of the paper. And for those who are, I'll just share for those who can stay behind before I go to the Q&A. I'm done with the paper sharing. So for the course I outlined just now, these are some of the online courses that I can give it to you. So I'm talking about this stress, anxiety, and depressions, emotional management. You can just scan the QR code to register if you want. So this course will be conducted online via Zoom. And this will be the platform. You'll see me exactly the same format as I teach the course. But you'll be able to access to the entire course material. And after the course, you have access to the entire video recording. And all the notes will be sent to you prior to the class. So the course will be conducted in English. It will be on 23rd May. The course will start. I have enough participants. 8 to 9, same timing. So it's $20. So if you have access to the particular paper that I give you, there's a discount code inside. Or you can, for those interested, you can message me later. So this is on stress. So I'll cover this thing. Any emotion is necessary and inevitable. Just need to regulate it. Because when you get angry, it's fine. You feel that something and somebody is doing something wrong, you get angry. But this energy that you have developed have to be well regulated. If this energy is not regulated, it trapped within you, then the thing become messy. So I share with you some method, including some breathing exercise, mindfulness exercise. So this will be on May. And stroke, secure, and the TCM perspective. The different TCM management option, how TCM can help you. So the different TCM approach, like we talk about stroke, there's this thing called ischemic stroke and hemorrhage stroke. It's a blockages or rupture to the vessel. But the idea is always about prevention. And then we talk about rehabilitation. How soon can a traditional medicine come in play? A traditional medicine can be a case of TCM, can be a case of yoga, can be a case of many others. The idea is when can this traditional medicine be involved, immediately or thereafter? It all depends on the condition of the individuals. So I'll be doing about this course come June 6th, same time. Then talk about in Chinese. This was developed for one particular resident network in Singapore. I'm open to public as well. This course will start. It's one of the RC in Singapore who wanted this to happen. I'm conducting this class. It's morning, Sunday morning. So this course will be teaching you why we cannot sleep. And the same course will conduct English. Why can't I fall asleep that particular evening? So why can't I fall asleep? If you cannot fall asleep, from the TCM perspective, it's a heart visceral system issue. If you fall asleep and you keep waking up, it depends on why you wake up. If you wake up, nothing to do, you just wake up, it's a gallbladder system issue. If you wake up, need to go toilet, it's a case of the kidney system issue. And diabetics. Why our body not effectively metabolize sugar, as I mentioned? Sugar is important to us. Without sugar, we die. In fact, when it comes to treatment of diabetic, I'm more concerned about hypoglycemia, a case where the sugar go too low. When the sugar go too low, if you go into a hypoglycemia stroke, that's more messy. Yeah? So I'll discuss about this in the course. So these are all my online courses. These are in Chinese. And so these are the courses I mentioned just now. This course will be conducted online. So it's SkillsFuture. For those Indonesian, give you a link to subscribe as well. So it will be conducted over on 4 sessions, Monday evening. So this course is for those Singaporean. You can make use of your SkillsFuture credit to attend this particular course. You can just scan the QR code. You can access immediately. So in the class, I'll touch on the following. You discover the web of life, the energy pathway. You understand how to locate acupoint within our body. You learn about the magic of touch, the use of scrubbing tool and things like that. That's you can subscribe online. I can send over to you if you need to. You talk about massaging. I massage my face at least twice a day. One in the morning, one at night. I comb my hair at least 200 times a day. So in the end of this particular course, you're basically massaging yourself from head to toe, including how to do foot reflexology. So it'll be a Chinese class. This class I'll talk about stroke, 中风相关疾病. Okay? I'll touch on how stroke come about. You talk about palpitation, 心悸, 胸口疼痛. Then I'll talk about acid reflux. I'll talk about stomach ache. I'll talk about constipation. These are courses I conducted in Chinese. And I'll talk about eczema in Chinese. So this course, I'm highly recommended for men or women who love their men to join this course. Men has a lot of problems, but men don't admit their problem. Just like I mentioned to you just now, sweeping things under the carpet doesn't really help. You understand the growth process of your men. Okay? Cycle in male aging process. Such as cases whereby how we can make it a stronger you, a calmer you. A man must stay calm under what situation? Then we talk about a healthier you, where we address issues such as erectile dysfunction. Just for knowledge, for those men in the class, erectile dysfunction has nothing to do with kidney system. It's everything to do with our liver system. So we talk about hair loss and chronic prostatitis. These are cases we'll discuss. The actual topic of how we're going to discuss in the last module of the TCM for men is subject to the consensus among those joining the class in the first 2 courses. I can always pick a topic that's most popular for the participant we can discuss. So these are all the online courses. Then I have classroom classes. This is a TCM for senior. It can happen next week morning. And in the class, you talk about few reasons why adult or why senior having some illnesses and how we can address them. And you will share about the importance of mindfulness exercise, where I touch on online later. Then TCM for women. These are Herbal Diet class, where I share a very important concept about constitution. Just now I talked about. A man's meat is another man's poisons. To embark on the journey of health betterment, especially with herbal diet or medical diet, without knowing your own personal constitution, it's like walking blind, crossing a road. Because you don't know where we are heading. We always like to compare ourselves to others, but the fact is you are not the same as all others. So we need to know who we are. In the course I share about how we can conduct medical diet. Just now I saw a question. Is 5 extra gallons a day okay? Answer is yes. There's an issue between a case of medicine weightage and food weightage. If I eat something 5 grams, it's called a food weightage. If I eat something 20 grams, it's called a medicinal weightage. A lot of people claim that red date a medicine. If you eat red dates, only 3 to 5 red dates, it's called food. But you consume 20 red dates at one go, it's called medicines. So what's differentiate between a medicine and a food is about how much you use and under what conditions should you use that much. So for example, extra gallons, the same thing. I'll talk about it in short while to answer that question. So you learn the importance of beauty from within and a healthier you, how we can address chronic illnesses such as diabetic, high cholesterol and hypertension. So these are some I'll cover. So acupressure I touched on just now, same thing. So TCM for children and youth. Fanny, this will be a class I'm talking about in June. At night, children's are gift from heaven. The idea is when you develop a baby, from the time it conceive or pre-conceive to the time conceive until it born, what stage we are going through until all the way until 18 years old. This course will be covered. And I'll talk about all the different methods, including pediatric massage. You'll learn the entire process of pediatric massage. Currently I have a course on pediatric massage that I have students coming from 56 countries online. So this I'll cover, whereby how the life begin from TCM view, all the cause of issue in youth and children and youth. You'll learn about the pediatric massage, the 32 acupoint area for children's growing up years. What happened to the little girl who turned ladies, the little boy who turned young men? What happened to them? And the healthier you, what are the common illnesses they cover? So this will be addressed in the course. And there's something I want to share with all of you here in this particular thing called the 八段锦. I practice Qigong every day. So the 八段锦 segment that I use to conduct, I'm now exploring to make it online. I will send to all of you about the details. So I have basically designed and choreographed this particular 八段锦 that include the entire knowledge of meridian knowledge, a dynamic breath and mindfulness technique. So this is proven effective in addressing hypertension, diabetic, as well as those suffering from insomnia. So the course is 3 sessions, and I will talk about it, the detail of all the key acupoint. In order to execute a pose, you need to draw a line. For example, I do a pose this way. I have a better background to show you. The line had to be drawn. For example, this is called lung meridian. So for every meridian, for every pose, you will learn at least 3 to 5 acupoint. So in the whole course, you'll learn the whole body acupoint, how to draw the meridian line. So it's over 6 hours. I'm planning. So it's meridian pathway, dynamic breath, and all these things. I'll send the detail to all of you. And I'll target to launch it in the month of June, Wednesday night, 8 to 9. So the detail I'll send to all of you later. So if those are keen, you can always come on board. So I finished all the sharing today. As I said, it's just a short update to chit chat. And now I'll answer all the questions that has been raised so far. And I'm looking forward to seeing you in my class.